Shout out Sniper T on the beat.
Tamara to the break of dawn is on the rise, with life on the forefront of the mind. So line for line, you can ride this brain train and you can change your station without even touching the dial. So relax, stay a little bit, but listen for a while. And whether you're bumping this in the whip or in a business fit, it's a meeting you won't want to miss. A meeting for a meal to feed the soul with words for the mind. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Time to take off, it's time to fly. Cause Tamara till the break of dawn is on the rise.
Hey, y'all. It's me, Tamara. Yes. Shout out. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. New episodes drop every Thursday. So all my new listeners, come on back through. All my regular supporters, thank you. This is going to be a short episode, like for real, y'all. And I know I always say for real every time I say it's going to be a short episode, but it really truly is, because it's either y'all get this short episode or y'all probably wouldn't get an episode, because I'm just tired, and it's a different type of tired. Like I am emotionally tired, because I have just felt such a wide range of deep emotions in the past week. Actually, today's Monday. So in the past week I have felt so many different emotions. I've cried so much for various different reasons, and I guess I am now. I don't even think I could say I'm not someone who cries a lot, because apparently I am. And that's been this just thing as I've allowed myself to heal and feel more deeply and just all these things. Um, and it's interesting, we recorded some PinTamZ content on Thursday, and I don't know, I've poured myself out a lot into a lot of things, and I'm reaching this point, and it's not work stuff, so it's not even company stuff. I've poured myself a lot into emotional things. Like there was a lot that went on this weekend, and I'm tired, y'all. Like I can't even explain. I'm just drained. And I've cried so much, and part of the crying is those of y'all that like know, listen, whatever, my faith is a big thing. Like I've been a part of the same church for about the past 9 years, and for the past since like January, I haven't had a vehicle, so I haven't gone, because the church is about a half an hour away. So it's kind of ridiculous to be asking people to come pick me up and just all this stuff. So I've just watched online, and I serve on the creative team, so I've still like serve and all that. I'm even a part of like an online small group, so I have kind of like virtual connection. But when I look at my life right now, the only real like consistent face to face interaction I have with people is the kids that are on my caseload with the subcontracting work that I do. Those are the people that I see, consistently 3+ times a week or whatever. And I've just reached this point where solely surviving off of online church and even online small group is just there's just this huge void, and it just feels so unbalanced. And so I've kind of like wrestled and prayed through, like, because I like, what do I do, whatever, because I mean I love the church that I go to. But I've actually made the decision that for right now, until I have a vehicle, that's my thinking, is that when I have a vehicle, I'll go back. But in the meanwhile, I'm gonna start attending a church that's closer to me, and they actually provide transportation. And I hope I don't cry on this recording, because I'm actually gonna be annoyed. But I guess y'all will never know, because I'll probably edit it out. Because I've shout out to Jay. I upgraded my editing software to just felt like it was time to upgrade, and she gave me a little tutorial. So then, now that I'm doing a little bit more editing on audio, I'm also doing a little bit more editing on video. It's just whatever. But I've cried so much over this decision because, like I said, I don't know if I said that already, but I don't do well with change. I know I've said it on the show in general. I'm a person that likes to create, like, I like freedom and I like to be a free spirit in certain things, but in certain things I need structure and consistency, and I create habits and patterns and whatever. And yeah, so I don't do well with change. And I've already had a ton of change in the past year, like career's different, we moved, just all these things. So yeah, that has been a quite an adjustment. It hasn't even happened yet, and I already, yeah, I've like cried so much, and I'm tired. There's just been so much stuff. It's hot, like being in and out the heat, going to like meet with people at their houses or taking them places, like depending on what we're working towards. I'm just tired, and in some regard I feel like a lot happened all at once, and I'm just adjusting. But I also just think I pour out a lot. Like, I pour my all into everything that I do, including the kids that I work with. But I don't have a lot of in person interaction with people that's like filling me. You know what I mean? Pause if necessary, because I feel like maybe, but whatever. Um, everything is just super unbalanced right now, and I don't know. I'm the kind of person that I will endure until I can't anymore. So this wasn't like, oh, just yesterday I made this decision. This is actually months of me really just kind trying to like hope things would shift as far as me getting my own vehicle. That hasn't happened yet, but we've just reached the point where I can't endure this anymore. And so, I serve on the creative team, so I did tell them, so like next Sunday will be my last Sunday serving, and then the Sunday after that I'm gonna start attending this other church. And it's like the responsibility in me is like, I'm gonna give you guys notice. Like, I'm like that anywhere with anything I'm doing. If I'm supposed to be responsible for something, like, I'm gonna give you notice so that you can whatever. But I'm tired. Like, and I it's just such a weird adjustment. Like, I love I love not having a 9 to 5. I love the subcontracting work that I do, especially since it falls so in line with my company anyway. So it doesn't feel like I'm doing something different, even though technically with that I work for another company, and with because I'm subcontracted to whatever. Um, love creating content. I love the stuff that I get to do, but it's also been a very, very lonely season since leaving my job. I will say that, because even though I worked from home, and so it's not like I went to the office and did whatever, even though they were kind of shifting us to do that, I think once a month or something like that, but I left before I had to do that. But there was huddle calls every morning, so like I intentionally interacted with my coworkers or whatever, and I don't have that. But regardless, I am not someone who can solely survive off virtual interactions. You know what I'm saying? It's interesting because I was thinking about how um kids these days have so much like online stuff to where I feel like if they just solely caught up in that, you miss out on some of the stuff that social interactions teach you, like social skills and social cues and all that. And I don't know if this is actually true, but I started wondering, like, I wonder if there's like an increase in social anxiety. Like, I know people are going to have social anxiety regardless of I mean, you don't have to go grocery shopping, although I'm very much a fan of that cuz whatever I could do to save time. You don't even have to go to a bank to start a bank account, like, and I'm talking about like regular banks that have buildings. So I'm not talking about just online banking options, but like regular banks that have buildings, you don't even have to go in the bank. And I just started thinking, like, but I wonder if there has been an increase in social anxiety since there's just so many ways for people to be able to like escape these social situations, you know what I'm saying? So that's just something I've been thinking about. But as for me, I just yeah, this has been the loneliest season. Like, I don't feel connected to anything or anywhere. Like, even the podcast community, I feel extremely disconnected. Like, nobody's done anything. There are people that I talk to outside of social media. Like, I have their phone numbers, text, whatever. So it's I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I'm trying to add people, like, be around people. I never realized how much I actually need people until I barely am around people, because I've always had jobs that have been like people focused. So I've worked in the social work field where you're constantly around somebody, and I don't know. So that's been my last week. It's change is hard. It's also hot. So that's draining too because I have to leave. Doesn't matter how hot it is, I still have to go meet with these kids. Now, thank God everyone has AC in their house, central air, I should say, but some of it is taking them somewhere. So then we're riding in the car and, getting in and out the car and just all that. It's just, yeah, I'm tired. But that's been my week. That's literally all I want to talk about is just I'm struggling with change cuz y'all know at the end of the day the show is about my life and how I'm and what I'm going through really. And this is my like public journal, and I share so that if you relate to whatever, you don't feel alone. But this is a therapeutic outlet for me first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? This is the legacy and the content that I'm leaving behind for my kids. Then that's second. You know what I'm saying? So anything else after that is just a bonus. And I appreciate y'all that listen. But this is probably the first week ever that when I said this is going to be a short episode, it actually is, because y'all know I be saying that because I think it's gonna be short, but I've poured out and some of the stuff I don't even want to talk about what I've poured into because I don't really want to put that on here, but I've just poured myself out a lot into a lot of things this past week. And I did tell y'all about that stuff with my bio dad and just whatever with that, and it has been a lot, and even when I do Pentam Z, when I pour my because I've we yeah, it's really interesting because we now y'all can't tell because I release it weekly, but we'll have like topics that just random topics that I'll put in the calendar invite. Shout out to Lindsey. That was actually her idea. And it's really like stretched me as a poet because I have to write about a topic, but it has to be true to kind of like I tend to in all things focus on the emotion of whatever. Like that's just me. I rarely, yeah, so like I don't know. It's really just stretched me. It's really caused me to dig deep into feelings and emotions and just all this stuff. And I don't always write everything the day of. That's a lie. Actually, I do write usually most of my poems day of. I try not to, but it just is what it is. And I also have the freedom to do that because I'll just dedicate that day in my calendar to that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very blessed with that. That my creative things are really, I now look at them like even podcasting, it's like digital marketing in a sense because it's getting my brand out there regardless. And all that I do with content creation, people see, and that's kind of how I've been able to get content creation clients and create content for other people's brands. So I look at all of this a little bit differently, even though podcasting is still a therapeutic creative outlet. But yeah, with PenTMZ, it's just I don't know. It's those have been really good. I guess we'll say exercises for us to like, because I can see where I've grown as a poet. You know what I'm saying, just from doing that. But that's been my week, y'all. So I am going to put out content every week. I'm very, very blessed that my platform is the way that it is. I always feel better when I talk this stuff out, even though I do listen back to my episodes now that I edit, so I'll know what I talked about or whatever. But as I'm recording right now, it feels very random, like I'm just all over the place. But I guess it'll make sense when I listen back. I don't know. But yeah, I always feel better when I just pour out whatever, but this is what I have for y'all this week. So, my encouragement to everyone is to make sure that you are taking care of yourself mentally, make sure that you are taking care of yourself emotionally, make sure that you are establishing boundaries within your relationships. That's not rude, it's necessary because if you don't communicate and establish those boundaries, people will just do whatever and they won't know any better. Like if they care, they're not out here trying to just harm you. You know what I'm saying? But a, a lot of times we interact with people based on our past experiences, based on past trauma, and sometimes that doesn't work with somebody else's trauma and like what they've been through, you know what I'm saying? But you have to communicate those things. Like if the relationship matters, my rule of thumb is always the relationship should be more important than being right. So sometimes you have to compromise, sometimes you have to um apologize even if it wasn't your intent to offend someone or whatever. Oh, I didn't mean it. Okay, but you still made them feel some type of way. So what is most important, that you didn't mean it or that you hurt them? You know what I'm saying? So make sure you're doing that. Make sure you are like getting your rest. I have whenever I pour myself out emotionally a lot, I am so fine with oversleeping, and I've even had to shift whose car, because between my mom and my oldest daughter, I'm able to do what I need to do. For Tamara the Dawn Inc., I don't have to go nowhere. This is all stuff I could do online, but for the subcontracting, that's where I need to leave. That's why I wasn't really tripping off not having a car because I didn't have to go anywhere. Well, now I do. And so I've had to shift how much I use one car versus the other so that I'm not spending 8 hours a week driving back and forth, taking my daughters to work because that was like, it was just a lot. And yeah. So make sure you're getting your rest because, like, I slept till like 10 today. Might have slept later if I didn't have an 11 o'clock appointment. Thank God it was over Zoom. That's kind of why I slept later because I knew that appointment was over Zoom. But I've been sleeping in lately and I've kind of allowed myself that because your body knows what you need. So take care of yourself physically. But then did the yard Sunday morning, or no, Sunday afternoon actually, and that was really good for me too because I didn't work out at all last week. So I rested, but then I did some stuff yesterday or whatever. So take care of yourself physically. I um try to make sure I eat decent because I need to have the energy. And when I eat too much crappy food, and I'm not saying I'm perfect at all because we had pizza yesterday, but when I eat too much, I feel drained. And so then I don't have the energy to do what I feel like I need to do. So make sure you're taking care of yourself physically, definitely. And in your relationships, like I was saying, like, we're all going through stuff, we're all whatever, but we can't be so caught up in just our stuff that we are not willing to meet the other person where they're at to have some sort of compromise to make the relationship work. Like, that's just so unhealthy, you know what I'm saying? So that's my encouragement to y'all this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate y'all, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.
Ladies and gents, this concludes transmission. Tune in next time for a whole new edition. Another adventure and mission to share, be heard, and clarify the vision of this whole new world for temporary.